Hey everyone! Welcome to the Corinth Chronicles. I'm Sosthenes, and today, I'm sharing a bit about how a guy like me, a synagogue ruler, ended up in this whirlwind of faith and friendship with Paul. It's quite the tale, so let's dive in. You know, life in Corinth was always busy. I was neck deep in synagogue duties, making sure everything ran smoothly. Then Paul showed up, and suddenly, it felt like someone flipped the city upside down. Paul's message about Jesus was, well, let's just say it was controversial. I mean, here comes this guy preaching the new way, and people were either all in or ready to toss him out. I was somewhere in between, trying to maintain peace, but also curious. I'll admit, I was skeptical at first. I mean, who wouldn't be? Here I was, overseeing a community that had deep roots in tradition, and Paul's talking about Jesus. It was a lot to take in. There was something about him, you know? The way he spoke, it was different. It stirred something in me. And those miracles? They weren't just stories, I saw them happen. It was like watching the impossible become possible. The more I listened, the more I started to feel this inner pull. But of course, it wasn't easy. I faced a lot of pressure from others in the synagogue who wanted to silence Paul. They were worried about losing control. At one point, I found myself really torn. Do I stick with what I've always known, or do I open my heart to this new message? It was a tough spot. I mean, how do you choose between tradition and this newfound truth? But then, something shifted in me. It was like a light went on. I realized that the truth Paul was speaking about wasn't a threat. It was a promise of something greater. And I wanted to be part of that. So, I decided to follow that pull. I became a believer in Jesus Christ. And let me tell you, it was the best decision I ever made. There was a sense of peace and purpose that I hadn't known before. Joining Paul in his mission was incredible. We faced a lot of opposition, but we also saw so many lives change. It was challenging, sure, but so rewarding. One of the most amazing things was seeing how God's strength carried us through those tough times. We faced threats, but somehow, we always came out stronger. It was like we had this unshakable foundation under us. And Paul? He became more than just a fellow believer. He was a friend and a mentor. We learned a lot from each other. His courage was contagious, and it kept me going. I think the biggest lesson I learned was about faith and friendship. They go hand in hand. When you are in the trenches, having that support makes all the difference. Even with all the opposition, we knew we weren't alone. God was with us, guiding us every step of the way. And that gave us the courage to keep spreading the message, no matter what. So, if you're facing something tough, remember, it's okay to question and seek the truth. And don't underestimate the power of a good friend by your side. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope my journey inspires you to find your own path and maybe even take a leap of faith. Until next time, keep exploring, and keep the faith alive.